The funding for this video is provided by the amazing members of my Patreon. Also contributions from viewers like you. Thank you. Yeah, I started from PBS Kids. What you gonna do? Fight me? Anyway, roll the video. For those of you guys who are unaware, Danielle got in a relationship with a rapper. I don't know who that man is. I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who that man is. I ain't never heard of him until he got with her. It's been a minute. Hey y'all, it's Harriana back with another video. Hi, hello, how are you doing? My name is Harriana. Welcome back to The Pirate Ship, also known as Harry Hood's Pirate Ship. I am the captain. You are not my first mate, and I'm not the first mate because you want to know why? Bring your ear closer to the speaker so you can hear me clearly. No one's worthy of being the first mate. But hi, hello, how are you doing? My name is Harriana, and I like to make content based on nostalgia and family children's entertainment and all the issues that I find within those spaces. We are gonna talk about somebody who is unfortunately nostalgic for me because I never stopped hearing about this girl since I was in high school. We're going to talk about Bhad Bhabie and how the perfect victim does not exist, and her being weird and anti-black do not excuse the things that her baby daddy has done to her, and not just her baby daddy but other men just as well. But I feel like I need to explain my absence. I have been really struggling with my mental health lately. That's the reason why I have not been here. I don't know if you guys saw it when I did like the close-up, but I've been having some eczema flare-ups on my face. So today we are going to be doing half video, half maintenance vlog type thing. Mainly it's just gonna be me getting my nails together because these shits look awful. My nails have not been done since like the week of MomoCon, and I have not done like my good skincare routine since MomoCon too, just as well. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right there. Thank you guys so much for being patient with me. I have been pretty open about my mental health struggles here on this channel, but I do want to get back to uploading a lot more here because YouTube not only is it my job, but it also is a hobby. Like I said, if you follow me in the 2010s, you would have been familiar with how I felt about Bhad Bhabie because I was open about how much I didn't like her then. I still don't necessarily care too much for her now, but YouTube has always just been like a really fun hobby for me, and I really want to get back to like, you know, making my job fun again. So let's go ahead and get into it. But before we get started, I do have a few little announcements. One, so you guys are familiar with my blog named The Black Natalie St. Kerr. The Black Natalie St. Kerr basically is a blog that is available to read for free on my website called harryonthehook.com. I have started to include my blog not just on my website, but it is also on Medium, and it is also on Substack. As of right now, I've just kind of been importing my works that are already on my website and importing them onto Substack and Medium, mainly because I do want my blog posts to be able to have more reach, and a lot of people have been more on Substack lately. The blog will still be free to read. I'm not going to charge a fee or anything like that on Substack. I recently have added a blog post called "You're Not Gonna Like My Opinions on Jayda, Wayda and Tracy," and that just has a lot to do with the fact that I don't necessarily agree with their ethics, specifically as businesswomen. So if you're interested in that, the link to that will be down below. And then the next announcement that I have is Juneteenth. It is Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth to everybody that celebrates. In honor of Juneteenth, I have my annual Juneteenth sale that I do for my merchandise at harryonthehook.com. Everything is 40% off. Yes, that includes the books You Can't Call Me Sis and You Still Cannot Call Me Sis. Those are by two essay collections that I wrote with my good friend Amaya Janelle that covers the subject of fandom, ableism, misogynoir, and white feminism. That's how I know I ain't doing too good. Feminism. But if you're interested in the sale, it will be going on till this Sunday. Please considering supporting a Black-owned business. Now, let's go ahead and get into this debacle. By the way, I'm like low-key superstitious, and a part of me feels as though I found so much more success on YouTube when I use my old camera. So we're back to using my old camera. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So, I want sit here and talk about Bhad Bhabie, how she is unfortunately a public figure that is very nostalgic for me. We're going to go ahead and get started with washing our face with this Anua face wash, Heart Leaf plus BHA. I have started a new skincare routine mainly because I started taking a new vitamin in the month of like October last year, and it made me break out really bad, so I've just been busy trying to clear my skin up. But this is what we're going to be focus. Okay, this is what we're going to be washing our face with today. Also, because I have like sensitive skin, as I mentioned that I have eczema, I try not to use so much of this, but I have not used this product since the week of MomoCon, so I'm trying to get it together. But Bhad Bhabie is a figure. She has been in our faces since about the mid 2010s when she had her appearance on the Dr. Phil show. And as we know, Dr. Phil is trash. We don't like him over here. So that's like another thing that I've always just felt bad for her, because I personally do think that her mom exploited her. And it seems as though Bhad Bhabie, her real name Danielle Bregoli, because I've always known her as just Danielle Bregoli, but then I was like, who the fuck is Bhad Bhabie? Because I remember people in my high school really liked her, which really confused me because I went to a predominantly black high school. So the black community's relationship with Danielle has always been one that's very confusing for me. And I remember like this was around the time of when I was starting to feel a little iffy on Sky Jackson. I remember her and her were like linking up at one point. And when I mean like linking up, like, you know, like being friends and stuff like that. And then they had that little falling out. Sky Jackson falling out with everybody though. I mean, Danielle fall out with everybody too. You see how I know too much about this girl because she's constantly shoved in our faces. So moving forward from that, the way I view Bhad Bhabie is very similar to the way I view Kim Kardashian. She's a public figure that is a culture vulture to black culture, not just black culture, because Kim Kardashian done appropriated so many other cultures, but they're both culture vultures. Black people have valid reasons for not liking them, yet they still have big black fan bases, which always confuses me. But all the time, I never hear like good things about her. She always in some type of beef. She always in some type of drama. And the most recent drama that she was in was that she had got into it with Travis Barker's daughter, Alabama Barker. And I actually have opinions about that situation that some of y'all won't like. And it mainly was Alabama was trying to take Danielle's man who treats her like shit. And Danielle, like, you know, made a response to this and went off on her. Everybody was clapping and cheering for them. First of all, why y'all fighting over a man? It ain't ever that serious. But I'm scrubbing my face a lot because it's been a minute. But like I said, she reminds me a lot of Kim Kardashian with how I feel. But there is another factor towards all of this of why she reminds me so much of Kim Kardashian, because while I don't like Kim, there are certain things that I will stand up for her for. And that one thing has to do with Kanye. Also, want to make it clear that this is not a drama channel. We don't really talk about celebrity drama here. I am really speaking about this from an educational standpoint because I think Kim and Danielle are like two prime examples of there's no such thing as a perfect victim. And this is where I feel like a lot of people's feminism gets lost because they think that they only need to stand up for women that they like when it comes to SA and domestic situations. Now, moving forward, for the exact reason of why I wanted to make this video is because there were some comments made towards Danielle that I didn't necessarily like, despite the fact that I don't really like her all that much. But also, I don't know her. She's a celebrity. She don't know me. Yeah. And y'all know the way I go about talking about famous people on this channel has changed a lot significantly. Like, famous people don't even really take up that much space in my brain anymore. And this is coming from somebody that used to be an obsessive fangirl. Y'all already know about my camera boy's face that I opened up about. Okay, next we're going to do this deep sea mud mask from New York Biology. This has really been helping a lot with my dark spots. So yeah, also I need to start going outside more again because I don't know, I just want my summer tan back. I just kind of been like on a summer funk lately. But moving forward, as we know, for those of you guys who are unaware, Danielle got in a relationship with a rapper. I don't know who that man is. I hate to say it, I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who that man is. I ain't never heard of him until he got with her. And they have a baby together. They have a little girl. And this was like after pandemic. Like, I feel like a lot of people seem to forget about a lot of things when it came to Danielle before pandemic and after pandemic, but As we ended up finding out that there was some DV going on with them, and I know people like to bring up, why is she still with him? Why didn't she leave him? I do my best not to be very judgmental when it comes to victims in DV situations, mainly because I really think we do need to look at the statistics here. There is a high chance of, people usually going back to their A-worder. And that is something that I am personally doing better about educating myself on too. Like, I ain't perfect. And then also they do have a child together. It is harder for people to, leave that person if they do have a kid with them. So long story short, her baby daddy treated her like shit. And that is when I really did start to have like a lot of sympathy for her, because this was like the only public information that I had known about, like, her being treated bad. And while I may not like a woman, I don't think she deserves to be brutalized. Okay, now that we have the mud mask sitting on our face, we're gonna let this sit for about like 10-20 minutes. And I was like, do that. We're going to remove the black polish off my nails and then trim and cut my nails, because this is not good. I want to be cute again. I do not feel cute right now. So first we're gonna remove the nail polish off my hands before we do the trimming of my fingernails. I'm sorry if I look kind of like right now, like I said, it's a gray mud mask. It's I don't know, the way it looks kind of makes me a little uncomfortable, but I really do like the way this thing has been on my skin. That was like the only information that I had known about her, and then I kind of knew a little bit about what was going on with her and Dr. Phil, and it very much, all of it is concerning. So after like finding out about Dr. Phil, for those of you guys who are familiar with like the black baddies, you may be familiar with an influencer named the Real Cow Sister. She is also another person that I've never necessarily cared for, and I have said openly, because I don't like the way she talks to people. I don't like the way her and Jayda kind of little dog a lot of the people around them. I wasn't necessarily, like I said, a lot of people in the black community for some reason just love Bhad Bhabie. So I was not surprised when I saw that the Real Cow Sister had her as a guest on her YouTube cooking show. And that video right there is what got me wanting to have this discussion, because it's obvious that girl has been treated badly. Like, even though she has done horrible, heinous things, she has been very anti-black. She even had another recent anti-black situation where her baby daddy pretty much posed in a jacket that said "White Lives Matter." She was standing next to him while he had his hand on her ass. It's always the mess. It's always the mess. And this is what happened when people like finally started to have a little bit more sympathy from her, because they, were on her side about her going off on Alabama for, going after her baby daddy. Listen, oh god, this drama just sounds so childish. And when I say childish, I mean immature. But when she was on Ari's cooking show, she basically was just telling her about all like the men that took advantage of her. And I was just like, this is super duper concerning. And I did have some sympathy for her, because I remember when I was growing up, there was somebody in my community causing harm to me, and people knew and didn't do anything about it to help me. And once all this started coming out, I started seeing people say some things that weren't necessarily in good faith, in my opinion. And it always happens when there is a celebrity that isn't necessarily liked by a lot of people in the general public. Basically, when she came forward about what her baby daddy was doing to her, that is when she made that really anti-black post with her baby daddy in that White Lives Matter jacket. There were people going off on her and saying, that's why that man, like, you. That's why that man, you. Yada, yada, yada. And I was just like, listen, I don't care what she does that is racist. Okay, I do actually care when she does do anti-black and racist things, but that does not like warrant him like hurting her. That is just something that I think a lot of us need to fix when it comes to talking about like cases of where somebody is being harmed. And a lot of that just has to do with the fact that Danielle is not necessarily somebody who is a perfect victim. Nothing about her screams perfect. She literally is a hot Cheeto girl. And even then, hot Cheeto girls that end up in DV situations do need to get the help they need. That's one thing a lot of people don't seem to get when it comes to the subject of feminism. And I think a lot of people really just kind of need to reevaluate a lot of things when it comes to that. Because I do consider myself to be a feminist, despite the fact that I do not like a lot of women. I have made that very clear. And I don't want you guys wanting to come at me saying that I'm being anti-woman, yada, yada. I am pro-woman all day, all night. Everyone knows that this is a very feminist brand. This is a very feminist channel. But also, I will hold y'all accountable and call y'all out when y'all are wrong. Like, y'all even do it to me before. And I appreciate that. Like, thank you for holding me accountable for saying something that was wrong and rude. I did the work and no longer repeated those things. But you simply not liking a woman does not excuse a man causing harm to her. Now that we're done talking about the first topic that I wanted to get into, where I was just talking about, like, you know, anti-blackness in our media, the next nostalgic thing I want to bring up is talking about, somebody had said that Charlotte LaBeouf from, you know, The Princess and the Frog, I know Lottie, that loud white woman from The Princess and the Frog, somebody got on the internet and straight up said that they think Lottie would vote for Trump. And listen, y'all know, like, when it comes to, like, you know, white women, I do think they can do a lot of work when it comes to their anti-blackness and, you know, the way they view feminism, especially when it comes to not just women of color, but black women too, just in general. I feel like people do have valid criticisms when it comes to The Princess and the Frog, because I had mentioned, like, yeah, I would not be surprised if Lottie's family came from, like, a line of slave owners, because that is how a lot of rich white people in the South had money in the 1700s and the 1800s through slavery. And I'm pretty sure that the home that Lottie lived in used to be a plantation. But I feel like a lot of people also miss the point of Lottie's character, because this is 1920s America. She openly has a black best friend and has done what she could to support her. I personally think Lottie could have done a little bit more when it came to supporting Tiana, but she was very open with the people in NOLA that her best friend was black. And we also see that Lottie wasn't uncomfortable around black people either. Like, her and Tiana basically grew up together. I'm sorry, y'all. Sometimes when I file my nails, I start to get, like, really distracted. Because these things need some tender loving care. When I tell y'all, like, media literacy is, like, literally in the gutter right now. A lot of people just simply don't understand the point of Lottie's character. Even though I do think that they could have done better with her. The point of her character was to show that not all white people in America during the 1920s were anti-black. And that is an important part of history that I think a lot of people do need to acknowledge. Okay, America still has a long way to go when it comes to the subject of racism. Okay, like, America still has a long way to go. There's still a lot of work to be done. But a lot of that progress has to do with the fact that white allies actually did something with their privilege and stepped in and helped them. Because if you actually go and look at the pictures from Dr. King's marches and all of that, even like the march on Selma, you would see that there were a lot of white people in the mix. Like, yeah, The Princess and the Frog did show us that racist white people did exist during that time period. That's what those two white men that Tiana was trying to buy the building from, that is who they represent. But Lottie's character does not represent that at all. She is the complete opposite of that. She is the one that actually wants change. She is the one that realizes that, like, why would I stop being friends with somebody because of their skin color? Like, and I'll even go and say, I love Lottie. She's one of my favorite things about she's one of my favorite things about the movie. She's a fun, nice, energetic character, but she's also not anti-black either. Like, you know, bare minimum. So to sit here and say that Lottie would have voted for Trump makes no sense. Like, there are a long list of evidence and proof that she would not vote for Trump. And y'all know I always talk about that book called Almost There. It's a Disney Twisted Tales novel written by Farrah Roshan, who is an amazing Black author. Support Black women who write. I really enjoyed her book, but there even is a scene in that book where she defended and stood up for Tiana when a white person was being racist to her. And I was saying that if it's not obvious enough who Lottie is as a person in the Princess and the Frog film, I think you might want to go and read that book and you'll get it very clear in your face there. But then again, a lot of people don't want to freaking read. And I can't stand it because people were trying to write it off as y'all are trying to say everybody who says I'm not racist, I have a Black friend. People were trying to apply that to Lottie, and I was like, wow, I do understand the critique there, because there are a lot of white people that think they can not be racist because they're friends with Black people. It takes much more than that to not be anti-Black. I think Lottie proved it enough that she was not one of those people. And I do, like I said, The Princess and the Frog is no way, shape, and form a perfect movie, but it did do many things well. And while I personally do think Lottie could have done much more for Tiana, I personally think Lottie should have just bought her the damn business. But that's just my critique. That's just my opinion. Even though Tiana is like, you know, the person that just kind of wants to do everything on her own and tries not to get help and yada yada yada. Like, Tiana, I love her. She's so imperfect, my imperfect princess. She is not somebody that embodies the I'm not anti-Black because I have a Black best friend. There are other fictional characters that y'all could have applied that to, and not her. Because I'm gonna be honest, y'all can apply that shit to some of the fictional characters in Victorious. They tried to use Andre as that. I feel like that's kind of what Andre's entire character is. Just to make it look as though the other characters aren't anti-Black because they're friends with like a Black dude, when at the end of the day, Victorious is a show that has a lot of anti-Blackness in it. I even say this about pretty much all the Dan Snyder productions, that they try to sit here and act like the world they're set in isn't anti-Black because there are characters, Black characters specifically, that they engage with on a daily basis, but then that same show will have anti-Black BS in it. Because even when iCarly started to include Tebow on a regular basis, the show was still anti-Black. Talking about race and gender can be a tad bit touchy sometimes because it seems like some people understand one factor of it and not the other. And that really applies heavily with not just talking about Charlotte from The Princess and the Frog, but it also just Danielle in general. Because I was like, there can be two things that can coexist. Is she in a DV situation with her baby daddy? Yes. But also, is Danielle anti-Black? Pretty much. And people were trying to sit here and say Danielle's not anti-Black because she did this and that and the third. Baby, there is still other things that she's done that she still needs to unpack and learn, because ain't no way in hell y'all are gonna convince me that it was okay for her to stand there with her Black baby daddy wearing a White Lives Matter shirt. Y'all not about to convince me that's okay. Dang, my nails, oh my god, they look so freaking terrible. They're looking better, y'all. They're looking better, y'all. I hate the fact that I just kind of been yapping my mouth off with this mask on my face. I feel like y'all are not taking me seriously right now. But once I finish cutting these nails down, I'm gonna wash my face off. I'm gonna rinse this. I'm going to moisturize. I'm gonna take my hair out and brush it. And then we're gonna finish with cuticle oil on my nails, and then we'll be done with this video. And by the way, you are free to dislike any fictional character you fucking want. I'm not about to police who you can and cannot like when it comes to fiction, okay? Unless it's like, you know, like you're being like anti-Black or whatever. It's not my place to police that. People are free to like and dislike who the fuck they want. But to just sit here and ignore the facts of something simply because you don't like a character no, it's not it. Because I can dislike Chloe from Miraculous Ladybug up and down all day, but I will sit here and talk about how, yeah, her home life isn't that great because her mom's terrible. Like, it literally is just that simple. It literally is just that freaking simple. You could have just straight up said you didn't like Lottie because you found her dying. Now sit here and go as far as to say that she is anti-Black and would have voted for Trump. Well, that's a little bit too much. But also at the end of the day, these are fictional characters. I feel like people just like try to pull everything out of their ass nowadays to like admit that they don't like a fictional character. Simply saying like this character is just annoying is like good enough for why you don't like them. There are certain characters that I just can't freaking stand because I just think they're annoying, and that's it. like there are certain characters in the Loud House, like when I did used to watch that show, there are certain characters in the Loud House I don't like simply because I just find them irritating. And the main one would have to be Lynn Loud Jr. Ooh, irritating as hell. Now my nails are trimmed and cut and filed, we can go ahead and rinse this mud mask off. Thank God. I am trying to do better about not letting like my mud mask sit too long on my face. Self-care. Self-care is so hard sometimes when you just kind of been losing your mind a little bit. Okay, now I'm gonna go in real quick with my CeraVe facial moisturizer. I don't know what it is, but I kind of have to use face moisturizers all the time that have SPF in them, because when I don't know, I just don't really like the way my skin feels. Take my hair down. Like sometimes I usually just kind of keep my hair in a bonnet, but for some reason I don't know, I feel like I need to take it out a little bit and just kind of let it breathe. I washed my hair like 2 days ago and it's just been sitting in my bonnet. I also recently got a trim. I got my hair trimmed like a few weeks before MomoCon. I can see again. This is the first time I've been able to see since I started making this damn video. But yeah, last but not least, we have the cuticle oil to put on my nails because it is screaming for it. But I'll go ahead and start doing my outro right now. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I deeply do appreciate it. Like I said, I really am trying my best because like I said, YouTube is my job. It pays the bills and I needed to get some shit uploaded. I needed to get something done. And I am glad that me needing to do like my skincare, needing to do my nails was something that was really making me hold off from like, getting content made. So I was like, girl, why don't you just like, show yourself doing your self-care? Because I used to film myself doing other things. Like I film myself doing my makeup. I film myself like, taking my braids out before and all of that. And I feel like a lot of people just kind of want a little bit more realistic content nowadays. They don't want highly, super duper expensive routines, all of that. Like I think a lot of people just kind of miss like regular people that just like, yeah, I have my struggles too. I don't live in an expensive penthouse downtown. Like I'm struggling with my mental health, and it does affect me, like, taking care of like things that like, apply under beauty. Because like I said, I was not feeling cute. I've not been feeling cute lately. But yeah, we're gonna probably paint my nails tonight. And I don't know, it's just something about having my nails done, having my hair clean, making sure I'm keeping up with my skincare. It usually does get me the motivation to like hurry up and get work done, because it's like I've been so quick to get work done for other people, but like actually getting on camera and filming videos, it's just been a little difficult. It's just been a little difficult, but it's not something that I can hold off on because YouTube pays my bills. But thank you guys so much for watching. The Juneteenth sale is going on now. The link to that will be down below. Please subscribe to my Substack if you want to be up to date every time I add a new blog post. But yeah, I'm a yapper, so I mean, if you watch this channel, you're subscribed, you're aware of that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day, night, or whatever time of the day you chose to watch this video. I'm just thankful that you watched it with the ads on. All right, thank you. Goodbye.